Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. We had a rough week this week with hearing the sad news about many people that have unfortunately passed away due to accidents that happened in the water. This video is dedicated to them all. May their souls have peace. In Hashem. In this week's Parashas Eikev, the Torah tells us, V'achalta v'savato u'virachta, you should eat, be satiated, and you should then bless Hashem. Now this is the only mitzvah of blessing that we found actually in the Torah. There, according to some commentaries, the blessing that is said over the Torah is also midoraisa, also biblically required. However, food for sure is required. So I just want to mention to you some aspects of when it comes to saying a blessing for food. Now, saying a blessing for food should not, in your mind, only be a Jewish concept. Really, the concept should be universal. It's very simple. If somebody gives you something, you simply say thank you. And so therefore, the idea of that we should say a blessing before or after we eat should not be foreign to anybody's mind, because without food, we can't exist. And so therefore, I just want to share with you four ideas. As I've told you once before, I was one time had lunch with a doctor, and as I was saying the blessing afterwards, so he looked at me and he said, I understand, you said the same blessing each time? God doesn't get bored from hearing the same thing? So we shared one answer in the past, that one answer is we can't view Hashem like we view human beings. Human beings would get bored, or this doctor would get bored, so he thinks that Hashem would get bored, but Hashem doesn't get bored. Because we get bored, Hashem never gets bored. Hashem wants to hear us talk to him. That's answer number one. Answer number two is that each time I say the blessing, the grace after meals, I say it with renewed vigor and with renewed concentration and with renewed meaning. Hashem wants that each time I say it, each of the words should ring home to me, and I should actually say it with fuller appreciation, fuller concentration. And so therefore the mitzvah, I connect more to the mitzvah itself of actually saying thank you to Hashem. The third answer I'd like to share with you is that gratitude is so important that even if Hashem were to get bored, as it were, he doesn't. But even if he were, nevertheless, Hashem wants us to learn the lesson of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That should be a person's life, that they're always thanking Hashem, always thanking other people, always to find the good in everything, always to be full of gratitude. And fourth answer I want to share with you is that I'm not blessing Hashem for Hashem's sake. I'm saying it for my sake, and it's connected therefore to the third answer. The more I can train myself, the more I open my mouth to verbalize the words, thank you Hashem, we have to realize that we're actually going through an exercise when we're saying the grace, and we're going to thank Hashem over the food. That will get us used to also opening our mouths and talking to Hashem in general, and also talking to Hashem and thanking him in many ways. Now, just to share one of the last thing with you, the Talmud states to make a blessing after you eat, to say grace after meals, that we know you have to do, as the verse says so clearly. But how do you know that you have to make a blessing before you eat? Now the Talmud says it's from what's called the Kal V'chomer, which is an easy and a heavy, which literally means if I certainly have to thank Hashem, if I have to thank Hashem after I eat, I certainly have to thank Hashem before I eat. So what does that mean? Why is it certainly? Now many of you have eaten something in the past, been very hungry, and you ate, and you felt like you could eat an entire pie of pizza. Now, after 4 slices, you realize you're not really as hungry anymore. And if you ate another slice or two, you'd be nauseated. And as a matter of fact, you can get to a point that the food completely nauseates you. You don't have any interest in eating at all, which is a miracle, because if you had the same interest in eating after the 8th slice or 7th slice as you did at the first slice, we would all eat ourselves to death. So Hashem created in the system which shouldn't be as exciting to us. Nevertheless, we have to thank Hashem. Now, why do we have to thank Hashem? Because of the food that we just ate. Now, even though the thought of food to us is not as exciting anymore, in a certain sense, if we eat too much, it can even disgust us. So certainly, when we're starving and we can't wait to eat the food and how exciting we are, that's when our sages say, now you for sure have to channel that love for your food and channel it towards Hashem and be so thankful that you have the food. So this is an idea that's certainly simple for everyone to do, for everyone to think about, and to concentrate a little bit more. Like we said in the beginning, it's simply a thank you. And so therefore, let's continue thanking Hashem, and hopefully these ideas will come into our mind and make us better people. Have an amazing, amazing Shabbos. Thank you for listening.